Welcome back to the Haddonfield Horrors podcast, where we review horror movies and horror movie franchises. I'm Mark,
I'm Rudy.
I'm Tawan.
I'm Maria.
and today we are continuing watching the host's favorite standalone horror movies. And this week it's my turn, and I picked House of Wax, which came out in 2005, and it was written by Chad and Casey Hayes and directed by Jemu Colette Sira. It was a French name. I tried my best. Now, before anyone says anything, I know House of Wax is a remake, but it's different because that original movie came out in like 1953, and they are completely 100% different. But before we get into any of that, because it's my favorite movie, I'll give you guys a plot summary. A group of college friends on their way to a college football game fall prey to a pair of murderous brothers in a small abandoned town. They discover that the brothers have expanded upon the area's main attraction, the House of Wax, and created an entire town filled with wax-coated corpses of the unlucky visitors. Now the group must find a way out before they too become a permanent exhibit in the House of Wax. So the House of Wax. Was this anyone's first time watching it?
It was not for me.
Maria? Rudy, was this your first time?
Nope, it wasn't my first time. I'm sure I've seen this before.
I've seen it before.
Yeah, you probably have, Maria. I mean, all those, most movies in the 2000s were bad, and they were all acted by like the CW, WB stars. So you probably definitely have seen this before, or seen all the other movies that are just like it.
No, I have. I know I've seen this one before.
I mean, yeah, it's the one with Paris Hilton. You probably definitely seen. I love this movie though. Like it's so bad, it's good, and it tries. It's definitely one of those 2000s like failed remake experiments, like Texas Chainsaw and Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween. Like it's definitely one of those. Like, but what did you guys think of the movie overall, Maria?
All all I care about this movie was Nick.
Nick.
Nick, he's so attractive. That's it. Like, I don't know, he was the only thing that made the movie worth watching. Um I thought the twist, I guess, was interesting. It's nice, but I also feel like they could have done a lot more with it, I guess.
Oh, with
Um
the third brother.
That and like when you, because you know how like how they're trying to make Vincent into like the evil twin, but the whole time it was Bo. And also, there's literally a scene where they tell you that Bo was the other twin even before anything happened, and I was like, how the fuck did you know? Whatever. Anyway, it's a good 2000s movie, I guess. You know, for the 2000s.
See, I thought you
And
were gonna say Wade because I know that you're. Aren't you a
oh no, yeah,
Supernatural fan?
I do. I love Supernatural. But to be honest, I love Dean more than I love Sam. So,
Same. I mean, I love Sam mostly because he was the guy from Gilmore Girls who I always thought was attractive.
and I just don't like him when he in his earlier years when he looks very like the boy next door ish, you know. But so,
Understandable.
Nick is the one that I was like, yep, this is it.
What about you, Rudy? What was your thoughts on the movie overall?
I actually enjoyed watching the movie. Surprisingly, it was one of those like fun, tongue-in-cheek slasher movies where it wasn't meant to be taken seriously. It was just more so. I guess it became popular, like you said, because of the cast. They were all popular at the time when it was distributed. So, I had a blast watching that. I like it.
What about you, Tuan? You seen this before, but was what did you think of the movie when you first saw it?
I definitely remember seeing this one when I was younger, mainly because I am very, like, 99% sure this is one of those movies that my parents bought out of the bootleg guy for me and my cousins, because I know I did not go to the movie theater to see this, and we did not buy it on the actual DVD. So I think it was a bootleg, and I remember it being like it looked scary as hell. I remember like back then I was like pretty scared of this movie, but like now it's like it still has like some like effectiveness and like ambiance and stuff and like the setting itself. But as far as it being like scary to me now, not really. But I like what they tried to do and like they did try with the story. Um, and you could feel like I could feel like the director, I forget his name, but I feel like he not saying he tried to do something different, but like he didn't like just come into it with like getting a paycheck basically. But um, besides that, the cast was the cast was definitely a cast. Like it's funny, like looking back at all these people, like damn, all these people were like really popular at this time, and it's crazy. But yeah, overall, not a bad
Even
movie.
the black guy, I was like, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm like
I
literally
forget.
everybody
I
has a
remember.
chance.
Wasn't he like? It was like all of us or something.
One
He was like,
one on one.
yeah, it was one. Yeah, it was one of those shows. Yeah, I remember from like the U and like UPN and shit. So yeah, all of them were like super popular at the time. And one thing I do remember though, very vividly remember though, was for the commercials in this movie. I mean, the trailers like they were like hyping up the fact that Paris Hilton was gonna die. I remember that like a lot when this movie was coming out. They were like, "Watch Paris Hilton die." Like, I was all like some of the posters and shit.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I enjoy this movie. Like I know again it's a remake, but that movie is so damn old and it's not even close to being the same. So whatever. This is a great fucking movie, in my humble opinion. But are there any scenes that you guys liked or disliked, or is a command, Twan?
Um, you can't talk about this movie without talking about the scene of Nick getting made into the wax figure and also getting his skin peeled. That is still some of the nastiest shit ever because the fact that they like if this wasn't rated R and like it just like they didn't show it like okay yeah but because it's rated R and they actually show like the one friend digging into his skin and like basically peeling his skin off, that was fucking disgusting.
Yeah, that part was so sad. Like he was just sitting there alive, and then Dalton like just took his face off by accident. Uh huh. Anything that you didn't like, Twan?
My bad, me myself accident. But um, was there anything that I didn't like? I will because I was gonna say like maybe like the scene when like they were all like drinking and stuff and then like they fall asleep and some shit happens like I don't know like because if I recall correctly were their cars messed up prior to them staying there or did they just choose to stay there.
They chose to just like relax a bit and like finish the rest of the drive the next day.
Yeah, see, that's where they messed up for me. I didn't I didn't like that. They would have to kept going because I'm sorry, I ain't stopping. Especially after you see the weird
That
creepy
that
dude.
one that one black guy wasn't doing his job.
Yeah,
So make them get the
he
fuck
wasn't
out of there.
he wasn't doing what he was supposed to because there was after like they saw like the creepy guy, one of the brothers. I would have been like, yeah, yeah, let's we not gonna stay here. We just go dip. So yeah, didn't like that, but teen movie, early 2000s. They gotta make some dumb decisions. Somebody has to die, so it falls in line, I guess. Oh, actually, wait. Another scene that I did like though, be just because like it's just one of those like irks, like icks for me, is when the sister was like trapped in like the basement of the car shop, and she like stuck her finger up, and he just like snipped her finger off. That was nasty as well.
What about you, Rudy? You have any scenes that you liked or didn't like or were indifferent about?
I must sound like very fucking thirsty and shit, but I enjoy thoroughly any scene with Vincent. And this sounds really wrong, but I thought,
Okay, Vincent.
yeah, he's hot. Like, okay, the
Explain
mask.
to
I'm sorry.
because it's the same actor who plays his brother. So I was like,
Well, the killer, obviously, like the whole
mhm.
like the long hair, the fucked up waxy face. Like it gave it so much, like, I don't know how to describe it. Like the movie was just so interesting because I've never seen any killer that looks like him, and I guess he was obviously created for that role, specifically for the House of Wax. But something about his character, just like his scenes, um, it made it that much scarier. And I know the movie is not scary, but like that itself, like imagine being chased around by like someone with like a waxy fucking face and long hair, like super metal looking. And I think his scenes really helped a lot in the movie because that itself built the suspense and the horror. Honestly, and those were my favorite scenes with him because, like I said, I've never seen anything like that before. My least favorite scenes was the fact that the movie didn't have any like character development, and I'm big on that. So I just feel like it was rushed. Like they were just once they got to their remote spot, they were slowly getting killed off. But it really didn't seem like they were slowly getting killed off because it just seemed like it was fast paced. You get me? Like I didn't really get to make a connection with any of the characters in that like
I
deeper
feel
sense.
like the only character who had like development was Nick and Dalton, because I feel like if Dalton would have survived, him and Nick would definitely have been doing like gay shit together. Like I feel like it was definitely coming. Nick was
Gay
like
shit.
coming around.
I'm weak.
Yeah, homoerotic.
What?
Homoerotic, I see.
Y'all didn't see it? Dalton was trying the whole movie. That poor man. He was trying the whole movie to get Nick. I was like, okay.
See, now I gotta like
I
rewatch
don't
it. Like,
blame him. Like Nick is so hot. Like of
I
course
mean,
I'd do the same thing if I was Dalton.
yeah, Nick is not cute.
like all those scenes, like in the car, he would just like, are you staying? Are you like he was trying his hardest. What about
it's
you,
o-
Rudy,
Maria?
you are
it's
not
okay,
telling me.
Mark.
Rudy, you're not gonna tell me that Nick is hot. That
Girl,
Nick
Nick
is
was
not
like,
hot, and while
Nick,
also saying that Vincent, the one with the mask, is hot. I swear to God.
because I'm fucked up in the head. I like
I
the
swear
fucked
to
up head.
God.
And Nick's like, if you want a Nick, just go to fucking Lakeview. You'll find plenty of them that look like him. So he looks the same like any other guy I've seen out there. You get me? So like, it's nothing special to me.
True.
Well, now I
Chad
know where to go.
Chad Michael Murray was like the cute guy from One Tree Hill back then. Like this whole cast is just
What?
like anybody who was on the CW at that fucking time.
He wasn't, but okay.
He was the he had his moment. All right, I would just say that. But what about you, Maria? You have any scenes that you liked or disliked? Thought were cool.
Um, I mean, all the gore scenes were actually pretty good. You know, when she got her finger cut off, when they were like pulling Wade's face off. Um, when what else? The fire scene was good too. I guess, but I don't know why they didn't run for the door. Like, why did she run upstairs? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the door was so close to her, and she was like, you know what? I'm gonna beat down this sign and run upstairs in this wax house that's on fire. But okay. I mean, the fire was cool. I just like whatever choices she was making. I was like, really? Well, whatever. Um, the scene when they kind of realized that the whole town was wax. I remember the first time I saw that, I was like, oh my god, the whole town? That's crazy.
Well, in that case, let's jump over to the characters. First up was Carly. Carly Jonas. What did you guys think about Carly? Rudy?
Well, I was a fan of. I hope I don't butcher her name. Elisha Cuthbert back when she was popular. She was in other movies and like I think TV shows that I really enjoyed watching her. So like watching her in this
She
particular
was
movie.
in Are You Afraid of the Dark? The
Yes,
original.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Now I know why I recognize her because it's been a long time. But seeing her portray a character in a horror movie was different to me at the time. Um, Again, I was younger too, so you know I don't have much experience with her acting. But she did a good job in the movie. She didn't seem like she overextended exaggerated with her scenes, especially when she looked scared or when she was like running away and shit. Because usually you can tell when it's like a horrible actress or not. But she did a good job, and that's all I have to say about Miss Thing.
Maria, what'd you think about Carly, the final girl?
I thought she was kind of dumb. I don't know. She did a lot of things that I was like, why? Like, why? I don't know. I just remember watching the movie. I mean, I guess I already talked about it, but specifically the fire scene, like I just don't get why she went up the fucking stairs. Like the house is made up of wax. I don't know. I don't know. Um I liked her voice a lot though. I don't know why that stood out to me a lot, but her voice. I really liked it. Yeah, I don't know. She just didn't really stand out to me, and some of a lot of stuff she did, I was like, really? Like you're gonna do that? That's the thought that came to your head, and that's I can't think of a specific moment right now. I just remember thinking that a lot throughout the movie. Like,
Well, I
why
thought
the
I thought that when you mentioned earlier when she ran up the stairs, when she was like there confronting Vincent, and she like knocked off the chain to go up the stairs, and then she ran up the stairs, and I
Yeah.
was so confused. Like, what the fuck is she doing? Like,
Yeah, I was like, why? Why are you going upstairs? Like, it's a fucking wax house. What are you gonna find upstairs that you can't find downstairs? Like, I don't get it. I don't know. And then, and I think also when she was like in his truck, um, when she was waiting outside for Vincent. Well, first of all, I mean for Wade. First of all, when Bo had first invited them over, and Wade was like, "Why are we going to your house?" and she's like, "No, no, it's fine. We can go." Like, bitch, no, like that's weird. Like Wade, first of all, was like, "This is kind of weird," but then fucking Carly was like, "No, it's fine. It's cool. Let's go." Like, and Wade was like, "Okay, fuck it, let's go." Like, you guys were not suspicious. You were literally suspicious like 5 seconds ago, but suddenly it's cool to go up to a stranger's house. Like, if it wasn't that far, he could have just gone and came back, and they could have been on their merry way. But no, they wanted to go. Or she wanted. I don't know. I don't know. I thought a lot of stuff she did was stupid.
what about you, Tuan?
Yeah, I would say I agree with Rudy and Maria. Like, I don't think the screenwriters was fucking with her because like they didn't give her like the best decision choices for like a final girl. Like the best two things she did in this movie was one, she spotted that the one brother was the one who came to them earlier with the broken headlight and then honked the horn. Even like at least she noticed that and then tried to alert them of that. And secondly, when she was like trapped under the car shop and she freed her like lips with that from the super glue, so she could like let the one guy, I think it was Nick, right, let him know that she was under there. So like those are like her two best decisions. Everything else like she was all over the place, to be honest. Like I didn't really know what they were trying to like do. Like, you couldn't really tell what they were trying to do to her, but you could just tell like they needed someone to be the final girl, and they were like, well, it's not gonna be Paris Hilton, so it's got to be this one.
Yeah, she definitely feels like an afterthought character. But what about her brother? In all honesty, her brother wasn't like leading. He was. Was he supposed to be like the lead male because he kind of wasn't until like the last like 5 minutes, and at that point, I was like, "Ugh, they're both gonna survive, I guess."
Yeah. Initially watching this, I thought that Wade was going to be the lead male.
That's what you would think. Well, see, that's what we think now, knowing that like which one of the two still has a thriving career. So we see, oh, it's Jared Padalecki. He has to be the lead. But back then, at this time, Chad McNamara was like the it man. But wait, what do you think of Nick? Was he useful?
um, I don't know because honestly trying to think. Besides getting Carly from under the like the car repair shop place, I'm trying to think what else did he really do. because he he like it was like it's so crazy. So I remember him. He helped Carly there, and then at the end they all like he also helped in like the final fight, but everything in between then he really didn't do anything. And actually, to be quite honest, he was the one that threw the he smashed the one guy's headlight. So shit, he probably was the one that made him come back to fucking fuck up with their cars and shit. Bo, was it? Yeah, he was the one who like I think he threw the bottle at Bo's headlight and then like smashed him. And then next morning, now the fucking car bell's broken. It's his fault. Whole movie's Nick's fault. I solved it.
What about you, Rudy? What did you think about Nick?
Oh my god. Where do I start with Nick? I don't think he was like a character that I cared for. Again, I think he was just used in the movie for his looks, and he was popular at the time as an actor. So they just said, "Hey, you want to join this movie cast and be the main attraction?" Even though he wasn't really doing shit in the movie. But again, just flaunting his looks and like getting shirtless for no reason. Like I felt like that just was on purpose, and I'm not a fan of movies when they have like the guys that are, especially like the pretty boys that are just used for that specific thing. And I don't know, I wasn't a fan of Nick.
Maria, were you a fan of Nick?
Yes. Um, I mean, I agree with what everybody said that he was used for his looks, that he wasn't really much in the movie. That's fine with me. But would I go back and watch just Nick? No. Um, like I would probably not watch. No, I would probably not watch this movie again just for Nick. Like he's hot. The Shirley scene was nice. Um, but I wouldn't exactly like defend him and his character because I mean the character it was weird. Like the tension between him and his sister was weird. Like there was a lot of stuff going on and they revealed things little by little throughout the movie, which I thought was kind of stupid. I don't know. Like it made no sense to the plot, I guess. Like it's way too obvious to have two sets of twins. He's known as the evil one, she's known as the good one, and then you have the other fucking twins who are kind of the same thing. You know, one is known as the evil one, the other one is known as the bad one, the good one, or whatever. And like, I thought that was kind of stupid. I don't know, but I mean, I agree. His character wasn't much. He was only there like in the beginning, I guess, to cause drama, and then at the end to help with the final fight. Like he's hot, yes, but like that's it. You know what I mean?
What about Wade, Maria?
I think I would. I mean, I definitely prefer Nick over Wade. I also feel like Wade also didn't really do much. He was only there in the beginning, and then he died. You know. I mean, to be fair though, his scene when they made him into a wax doll was crazy. Like that scene was really good. The effects on that was really good. That whole thing they put on his face looked scary, and just because, but it was just used for wax, and I thought that was crazy. But like, other than that, I just don't. I don't know. I just don't really think about Wade. Like he didn't really stand out to me. He was like suspicious of everybody, but so was Nick. Nick was kind of also suspicious of like the people around him and all like, you know, like for some reason they gave Nick a lot of common sense and they kind of gave Wade some common sense, but then they never really acted on it, you know what I mean? Like they were just like this is weird. And then everybody else was like no, it's okay. So they were like, "You know what? Fine, it's okay. It's cool." Which is like weird. Like you like I'm telling you that scene when like the guy was like, "Let's go back to my house. I have that fan bell you need." And he was like, "It's at your house?" And he was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Well, I don't know about that." And then fucking Carly was like, "No, let's go." So he was like, "Okay, fuck it." Like, no. Why is his fan bell at his fucking house? Like, why? Like he says he does it for delivery sometimes, but if it's a couple blocks away, why would you need it delivered to your house? I don't know. I don't know. But that's just me. Maybe I'm too paranoid. I don't know, but I don't know.
Paranoia keeps you alive.
Yeah, but Wade had that. But then I guess he was too like I don't know, too much into Carly that he was like, you know what, whatever, I'll do it. Fuck it, let's go. Like, yeah, and that's why Wade died. Look at that.
What about you, Rudy?
Wade. See, this is what I'm saying. Like, it's hard to talk about these characters, especially with this movie, because there's no character development for me to actually like have something to say. I like Wade. His character was decent, honestly, better than Nick's. Not just physically. I'm just talking about like on a deeper like character level. Like because he was in the first half of the movie until he got killed off. So he was trying his best to like kind of figure out where they were at and what they were trying to just get help basically. And he didn't have the most common sense. I agree with Maria. I think they gave it out to Nick in the movie for some reason. And I think that's where he failed to portray his character, or maybe that's how they did it on purpose. But yeah, I mean, I don't have nothing bad to say about Wade. I just don't think that there's enough to say about him either, because there wasn't enough time for me to get to know him to actually like him or not.
Tawan.
Yeah, Wade was it was kind of a waste of the actor, to be honest. Because I agree with like Maria said, he was kind of like flip floppy with like the way he was written. Like he was like really like caring, like not caring, but like caring about the situation and trying to get them out of it to a point. And then he was just, it was like they lost everything they wrote about him, and then they just was like, oh, he's just going to get caught up and die now. Which it's like those type of things always is always weird with characters because you think is gonna go a certain way, and it's like it's fine to like defy expectations or whatever, but so when you set up a character a certain way and then they go off and just do like the absolute most stupid thing, then it makes starts making no sense anymore. But um, we got to keep him in the movie because he gave us the best death scene.
His death scene was brutal.
Oh yeah.
But what do you guys think about Dalton? I thought Dalton was kind of cute. Him trying to help. Uh, See, Dalton died because he wanted to stay and look for his friends, which I get, I understand, I support. But when the shit is creepy, Dalton, you gotta fucking leave. And then they chopped off his head, and he kept blinking his eyes, and I was like, oh, no, this is petty. But this is too much for me. What did you think, Tuan, about Dalton?
Um, I don't know if I was Dalton and I see a person who looks like my friend or is my friend sitting at the desk and I mean like a piano and they're not moving, like he didn't immediately like get what's the word, like scared, like he was like was making fun of it, which I understand this is a stressful situation, so either way like you're like some people like laugh to like get past shit, but that first point where he like started like peeling at him and then he saw like blood, I'm sorry, I would have stopped right there, but I'm not gonna keep peeling and like seeing more like blood and shit, like because that is like not like is not right. So like that was like a dumb decision on his part, to be honest. But I understand like the scary aspect of it and like being afraid. But yeah, if I like do something to someone and they're bleeding, I'm not going to keep doing what I was doing to them, especially if I'm trying to like figure out what's going on or save them. But yeah, he was trying to look for his friends, and that was like his downfall. But he really didn't get much to work with anyway. So um, we got a cool death scene out of it, which was decent. But yeah, that was weird. Like his eyes like kept blinking after like his head got chopped off. That was that's just like it's like one of those horror movie things that they that like happens here and there, and it's like okay. But yeah. Also, when I was looking up the movie, I found out he was Bobby in fucking Scary Movie. That's hilarious.
Yep. What about you, Maria?
He was just kind of like there for, I guess, comedic relief. You know, he was doing a bunch of funny stuff, I guess. I don't know why they made him like Carly. I feel like that added nothing to the story. You know, like they mentioned that twice, and I was like, okay, and then they just kind of never did anything with it. His kill scene was, yeah, it was kind of weird. It was like, I mean, I guess it was cool the way he like, chopped his head off with the two knives. But then when he like dragged his body, and yeah, his face started blinking, and it was like, okay, I guess. But the scene though, when um when Carly and Nick find him, and Nick was like, "I'll get you out of there." So he grabs it. He grabs his face. He grabs the whole thing, right? Trying to take it off, and his head just comes off. That scene was funny. I thought it was fucking hilarious. I was like, "Oh my god, there's no worse way to find out that your best friend has been." And well, honestly, I don't. I feel like in that moment, Nick probably thought that he did that. You know what I mean? Like he probably accidentally, took his head off. Because how would he? How else would he know? Which was even funnier to me. I don't know. It was funny. It was a funny scene to me. I'm sorry. Um, but other than that, I don't think he really like. That's it. Like he only appeared like the same times that Nick did, and then he died so quick. And and I do kind of see the whole like best friend ish, relationship going on between Nick and Dalton. There was a couple scenes where I was like, you know what, this is kind of cute, but yeah, yeah. Other than that, Dalton was just Dalton, I guess.
Rudy.
Yeah, Dalton. I like you said. I think he's cute, and I also was shook when I found out that he played Bobby in Scary Movie because he looks so different. In this one, obviously he's more of an adult. Um, I'm a fan of his death scene as well. I think that was a creative kill. I mean, most of the death scenes in this movie were kind of cool if you think about it, but Dalton's was iconic, I would say. And the fact that his eyes were blinking, isn't that normal though? Like they say that if, like, for example, you get decapitated or something, or like you chop off your hand, it'll still twitch. Same with his eyeballs. Like he was just like, it's something with the nervous system, right? Where
Yep.
you just, yeah. So that made it more realistic. Excuse me. That made it more realistic in that sense of when he was dying, he wasn't fully dead yet, or maybe he was, but the body was still functioning in a way. Um, this is what I'm saying. Like the movie killed off these characters that we just seen briefly, and so like there wasn't anything that they offered to us for us to like have a genuine conversation about them. I kind of wish he was the main character too, though. Like I wish there was more of a story to him, but he was more like a villain character just to add a death scene, in my opinion.
Yep. And to create some kind of conflict that they did nothing with that conflict, so it was kind of boring. Now, I was going to talk about these two characters separate, but we never saw them separately. So let's talk about Paige and Blake. What you guys think about Paige and Blake, the couple who stayed back and got killed in the tent, and maybe she was pregnant? We never actually found out, I think. Tawan.
Man, this is like two people, and you would take them out the movie, and literally nothing would change. That's the crazy part, because they gave us nothing. They literally gave us nothing. They were there to be the one couple that was always fucking, and one of them died because like didn't the boyfriend die off screen? Like we saw him after he was like
No,
stabbed.
he was still alive when she found him, and then Vincent came by and jammed the knife deeper into his throat, and then he died.
Okay, that's what it was. Okay, but Paris Hilton's kill was nice. That was like a decent kill. That's the way I think. Was it Rudy said that? That's one thing I will say. The kills in here they weren't bad. All the like kills and stuff were pretty good here. But Yeah, like they didn't like they didn't really give us anything. Like they didn't even get to the city, so it didn't like nothing really matter for them, for lack of better words.
Maria, what's your name again?
Well, yeah, they were also just kind of there for no reason. Like they were just added kills. I mean, yeah, you never even found out if she was really pregnant. And you can't even see the scene where she finally tells him. And like, I don't know. Like, I don't know why she had to die in like her underwear, basically. Though her kill scene, I agree with Tawana, it was a pretty good kill scene, to be honest. It was gory for me. I was like, oh my! And then when he videotaped her, I was like, what the fuck? Whatever. It was a good scene. Um, but other than that, yeah, they were always together. Um, yeah, they were kind of just there. Like if their whole plot was cut out, I don't think the movie would have like changed. You know what I mean? Like I don't think there would have been any difference to anything if like their whole plot of going to go see this college football, them being turned around and coming back. And that was it. Like I was like they didn't even go into town. Their dead bodies went to town, but not them, you know? um they were just there, I guess. Didn't really make a huge impact on anything like at all, to be honest. Like most of the main characters were in Wade's car. It was literally just, Blake and whatever the other person's name was in the other car, and that was it. So yeah, they were just there, I guess. Can't really say much about them. They didn't really give us much.
Well,
Like you
let's
can't
talk
even
about.
tell. Oh, sorry, but
No,
like,
go ahead.
you can't even tell that they're on the football team. I didn't even get that until later. I didn't even know Nick was in the football team until they mentioned it. And I was like, what? All these people know each other for real? But eh, I
That's
guess.
actually so funny because that's really true. I could not imagine all these people hanging out together, like
Right?
outside of this scenario. Like that's actually very funny that you pointed that out. Like I could not imagine any of them being friends. Like I cannot imagine Paige being cool with Carly, or like Nick being cool with like Blake and stuff. Nick seems like such an outcast. Like I don't
Yeah.
know. It just doesn't mesh. But they just gave us like each like high school or whatever. It's like stereotype or a college kid stereotype they could give us to put them together, and it didn't work for them.
Yeah, like they made Nick into such an outcast, such a bad boy, but he was literally basically the star of the football team. And like I think he just got well, he got kicked out, I guess. And then on top of that, Wade was on the football team too, and Blake was too, and that's why Nick came because Blake invited him. Which, when they first said that, I was like, why would Wade? I mean, why would Blake invite Nick, like Carly's brother, knowing that they're fighting? Like that makes no sense. But because literally while they were hanging out all together, they never even really talked. You know what I mean? It was always just Nick and Dalton versus like, and then it was Blake and Paige, and then Nick, and then Wade and Carly, and that was it. Like they were kind of really separating each other, but at the same time, they're like, no, we're all a group of friends. Like what? What the fuck? And then on top of that, I don't know. I don't know. It was just the relationships were just weird. Like I don't think if you really, really think about it, the relationships didn't really flow, you know? But but you know what? Whatever. I guess it's just me overthinking the movie.
Well, that's what we're here to do. But let's talk about the Sinclair family. The twins, Bo and Vincent, and then their third brother, whose name I forgot, and then the mom who kind of started it all, Rudy. What'd you think about the crazy Wax family?
I feel like they were trying to go with this like super overly used plot with crazy families. Like we go back to the Texas Chainsaw family, or like even the Firefly family from the Devil's Rejects. They their motive wasn't really like popping out, if that makes sense. Like I just didn't. I felt like the whoever wrote the movie was just like, okay, let's just like write about this blah blah blah, this family, and make it seem like it's what is that word, like they're trying to seek revenge or some shit, and it wasn't working with the story for some reason. I just didn't like them. I wasn't a fan because I've seen this in like many movies, so it gets tired after a while. And let's be honest, this movie came out before all these movies that I just mentioned, besides Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But you know what I mean? Like the family just didn't pop out, in my opinion. It was just like, okay, yeah, another storyline with a crazy family who wants to do this and torture people and blah blah. Um, I feel like they could have done better with them to make the movie stand out more, because it wasn't like, I don't know, they just didn't stand out in my opinion.
Tawan.
Yeah, I agree with Rudy. I was actually literally gonna bring up Texas Chainsaw Massacre as well because that's like kind of what they were giving me a bit with the way Vincent was acting. Like when Bo was talking to him, it was kind of like when the original family in Texas Chainsaw Massacre was like talking to Leatherface, like it was like he was a child basically, and it it gave like that same kind of scenario, and it I don't know, it didn't land as well because at least in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like the family was still there and they were influencing the decisions, whereas it was just the two brothers this time around. And I don't know, they but like we needed a catalyst for everything to go the way it did, which I guess was Nick throwing the bottle at like Bo, and then now Bo has like at his car breaking his hip. Like now there's like beef, but we know in Texas Chainsaw Massacre they were killing them because they were cannibals and like they like to eat people and whatnot. But in this movie they were just doing it to add people to their wax collection, which I'm like, okay, it's really random. Like it's really random in a sense, but it like works for the movie. I know like I feel I'm thinking about it too much. Like it's like one of those things where if I the less I think about it, the more I'm okay with it. But the more I think about it, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It's not really clicking for me that much. But yeah, this is one of those movies where yeah, if I don't think about it like that as much, it works for me. So in that sense, it does work. But thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, I don't really know if I mess with it that much. As far as like their any reasonings or like the family and such. But they did try to like have us guessing like who was who. Like you probably like on our first watch probably thought Vincent was the one kid who was like breaking out of his chair and stuff and being mean to the mom. Then we found out his Bo and Vincent was actually like the more quiet one, and he was doing all the killings because Bo had like such an influence on him. So like I guess that aspect of it was interesting, but I mean anybody kind of could have not say anybody could have figured it out, but it's like one of those things where it's a generic movie thing, I guess you could say.
Maria.
Yeah, I agree with what Tuan said. Like you don't really get much. Honestly, you don't really get much info on them. Despite, I mean, you get the story, and you're like, okay, you get like the beginning scene, but then you don't really get anything after that. You get little snippets here and there, but like not really much. Um, like yeah, it's just yeah, it's very generic. Like it's a very generic story. Um, it kind of works, but at the same time, it's like I feel like they give you so little on purpose so that you don't question it, you know? Like it's just some people in a town killing people, making the town into waxes, into a whole wax thing. I don't know. You know, they're doing their thing, I guess. But that's it. And you don't really question like why, like or like how did this come to be? And how were they able to kill a whole town? It's what I want to know, to be honest. Like it's a whole town. Like there's a lot of people there. I'm pretty sure people come up missing. I doubt they go out and just like kill everybody. But whatever, I guess. Um, and then the whole like third brother, though. I mean, to be honest, though, I could kind of see that coming. But then I don't know. I mean, like the twist was there for what? For a second movie? Like, was there a second movie with the third brother? I don't know.
Nope.
Exactly. So
No,
so it's like why? Like, I mean, what's the third brother gonna do now? Is he gonna continue with the wax? I doubt it. He doesn't look talented. And I don't know. I don't know. Eh. I guess it was a good story. Just I could have done without the plot twist, honestly. If there was no plot twist, I feel like it would have been fine, to be honest. Um yeah, nah. It was just a generic family doing their very basic thing and kill people.
Yeah, but like Rudy said, they were definitely given Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Well, they were trying to give that to us, but they definitely didn't succeed. Uh, yeah, the twist of it being Bo is the rowdy one, while Vincent was the quiet one. I never, unless I missed it, they never explained why their mother started the whole like wax thing. Like, was it her vision to turn the entire town into wax, or did she just want the wax museum? Because that was never clear. Hmm. But we talked about all the characters, so let's move all over to some behind the scenes info. This movie was made with a budget of $40 million, and they made 70.1 million dollars. I'm surprised they didn't get a sequel. That's usually sequel money. Definitely need a sequel though. What the hell they're gonna do? Have like House of Wax and like some other place? Like was the other brother gonna follow them around? That wouldn't have worked.
yeah, I wouldn't have.
This movie was filmed at the Warner Brothers Movie World, Australia. There's like a big Warner Brothers theme park in Australia that they also like use as like movie set sometimes. This movie has a 27% on Rotten Tomatoes. A critic said that it bears little resemblance to the 1953 original The House of Wax. This is formulaic, but better than the average teen slasher flick. Metacritic says it is an average movie with average acting and average directing with piss poor writing. Oh, that's bad. Jesus Christ.
That sounds about right though.
Roger Ebert gave the movie a 2 out of 4 stars, saying House of Wax is not a good movie, but it's an efficient one. There you have it, folks. People, they didn't like this movie, but do we like this movie?
Oh, wait, one more thing I did want to say about this movie, the House of Wax one. Okay, they were in Louisiana. It's hot as fuck in down south. Why? How did the House of Wax last?
Oh my god, yes. I was thinking that, but I forgot. Yes. When she said I hate winter, I'm like, it's so bright outside. It looks like it's summer. But
They said they were in Louisiana. I remember that. It's hot as fuck down there,
yeah, I was like, how did this not melt in the fucking sun?
especially
Like,
considering how long it's been there. It should like I don't think Vincent and Bo were out there like I don't know. I don't think they were doing putting new coats of wax every time.
exactly. That's what I was thinking. I was like, how did this last?
I never thought about that actually.
What got me was like when it was getting like dark already and she was like, I hate winter. And I'm like, bitch, you're wearing a fucking tank top. Like, what do you mean it's winter? Like, what? I did not hear that it was Louisiana, but when she said that, I was like, wait a minute.
And then why did Paris Hilton have it? Well, she was naked. She only had on her. Okay, it made sense for her. She was running around her underwear. She needed to cover up. Okay, never mind. So guys, do you cash or pass on House of Wax? Maria?
I'm sorry, but I pass. Like, it's an okay movie, but it's not. I don't know. It's not a movie I would reach out for. It's not a movie I would put on in the background, like just as like background noise. Like, I know I've seen this movie multiple times, but in like a couple months from now, I'll probably tell you I haven't if you ask me because I'll forget about it. It's just not a rememberable movie. It doesn't really like stick, really. Um, I'll probably forget about Nick. I'm sorry, but like I don't know. It's just not a movie that I would like go out of my way to watch just because I feel like watching it.
Tuan, cash or pass on House of Wax?
So I wanna pass, but I will give it like the slightest cash, like on some, it's like $5 Tuesdays at AMC type of pass, because like this movie is not that good, but this is also one of those movies where like I could put on for some friends and we could just watch this in the background. And if some of them haven't seen it, they might be interested in it. But it's not gonna be like super engaging, but it's one of those things that you could just put on still. So like the slightest like cash in that sense. But like in all other senses, yeah, I would probably pass on this movie personally. Um, if I never saw it again, I probably wouldn't care. But it was fun to revisit now.
Rudy, cash or pass?
I agree with both Maria and Tawan. I have mixed emotions with this movie, but I also don't think that I should just like pass on it because other people might be into it. I personally, honestly, wasn't 100% invested in it. I do love the death scenes. I like the killer. I like the aesthetic. I don't like the storyline, if that makes sense. So, with that said, I think again, anyone else who hasn't seen it should give it a shot, and who knows, they might like it. This movie's not meant to be taken seriously. It's more so like a teenage slasher flick, like any other movie back in the day. So yeah, definitely cash.
For me, it's cash all the way. I mean, it is my favorite movie pick because it's one of my favorite movies, like horror movies, because it reminds me of like the slasher movies from the 80s, where you have like your archetype characters who are just being picked off one by one, and there may or may not be some weird, stupid backstory for the killer that makes absolutely no fucking sense. So it gave me what I enjoy. And of the remake movies, that this is because this is part of that 2000s remake trend, and in my opinion, this is one of the better ones. In my opinion, so it's a cash for me. Come join us next week as we watch Maria's favorite movie, Taking of Deborah Logan. Now, this is one I haven't seen before, but it is starring one of my favorite soap opera actresses, so I'm kind of excited. But I've also seen some photos, so I'm kind of afraid.
I hope you
Like
guys
good
like
afraid.
Like good or afraid. Like I'm gonna enjoy this movie and I might have a nightmare or two afterwards, but I'm cool with it.
it.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Goodbye. The Haddonfield Horrors podcast is a Letters to Media production.
Should we do an intro?